from the Swisscast Network. Hello, and welcome to the podcast all about becoming a health coach. I'm your host, Megan McCrory.
And I'm Danna Hoffman, Megan's new co-host.
The first 23 episodes of this show were recorded back in 2018 while I was attending the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Those early episodes cover what Megan was learning during the first half of the health coach training program. And they're still a great place to start if you're brand new to the world of health coaching.
New episodes are focused on building a business as a health coach and what it really takes to grow something sustainable.
We share practical tools, real talk, and the behind-the-scenes stuff that helps you turn your skills into a business.
You can learn more and check out additional resources at becomingahealthcoach.ch.
That's becomingahealthcoach.ch. Okay, let's get into today's episode.
Hey friend, Megan here. Quick note before we dive in. You are listening to our special coaching series with Joanna, where you get to hear what health coaching really sounds like, behind the scenes and in real time. This episode is Joanna's health history, so you will hear the context that shaped what we focused on in our coaching, and what Joanna most wanted to change over the next 3 months. If you want to listen along to the actual coaching sessions between Joanna and Danna, those are published over on our other show, So Frickin' Healthy. And you can find a link to that playlist in the show notes. All right, let's get into it.
Hi, Joanna. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much for filling out the health history form. I know it was a little bit of a crunch, but it does really help me to get an overview of what's going on and to ask the right questions. So today I'm just going to ask a lot of questions. And my first one, it has to be, how are you surviving with twin 4-year-olds and a 10-year-old? I had a panic attack reading it.
Yeah, the answer is barely. No, actually, I mean, the first 3 years were very, very difficult. I would say since they turned 3, it's been a lot easier, but it is definitely a game of competing priorities all the time. I don't even know what it's like to just focus my attention on one thing at a time anymore.
So it turned you ADHD by default, right?
Yeah, I struggle with that. I think I wrote it in my form, right? I want to be able to have the kind of concentration capacity and memory capacity that I used to have before my attention was pulled in 10 directions all the time. At work, I can still focus, but I do see that, I used to be able to just dive into a topic and just get lost in that deep work flow zone and be there for hours. And then I'd look up, oh, it's 3:00 already. And now it's put the phone away, I have to close all the tabs, and I still struggle. Like I need to chew or like have a fidget toy to get through like a long document or something. I think routine, very, very a strict routine with myself and with the kids has helped just to minimize the amount of decisions that need to be made at any given time. And I also try to enjoy it because it's a fun time and it is a gift. And, even though it's a struggle for me and for my partner, they're great kids. So we try to have fun as well.
That's wonderful. No, I totally get you. I think I always say like it's such a joy having kids, especially when they're asleep. You can't help but look at them and go like, oh my God, they're so cute. Please don't wake them up. So I understand the struggle, but I also understand the love that's involved in it, and it's inevitable. Great. So you do work 25 hours a week, plus juggling 3 kids. I was going to say 4 kids. It probably feels like 6. Is the 10-year-old more helpful or more kind of like attention seeking because there's 2 other rugrats running around?
Yeah, I would say it's a 50-50 split. Sometimes she's incredibly helpful. She's very mature for her age. I sleep trained twins, so they will sleep solid for 12 hours. Once you put them down and they're asleep, they don't wake up. So she told me, Mom, I'll babysit them and you can go out, around the corner for something as long as I get paid. But then at the same time, she'll like come and jump on me from behind because she feels like she's been ignored and she's not the size of a 4-year-old anymore. So,
yeah.
Or, she can be like exponentially more annoying because she's bigger.
Sure. Makes sense. Okay, well, at least you know that you have a babysitter. That's good. You mentioned in your health history report that right now you're eating a more flexitarian type diet, mostly plant-based. you would like to try a more vegan approach. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What's your kind of go-to and what do you consider a flexitarian?
I'm trying to eat, like, I guess you could say, a climate conscious diet. So that's why I am drawn to the more vegan diet. I think also it's shown to be healthy if you can manage to get the right macronutrients and stuff. But it's not always feasible. Plus, also, I like cheese so much. So when I do eat animal products, I try to choose the sort of like lower carbon options, go for like chicken or fish or a little bit of cheese. But I try to incorporate a lot of like beans and lentils and other things like that. I have like 50% support from my family because kids, they're picky what they eat. So, luckily they like tofu, they like lentils a lot, but they also like chicken or sausages and stuff like that. My daughter, actually, my older one, is vegetarian.
Okay.
Her choice. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you mentioned chicken, fish, but mainly kind of legumes as protein source. You were talking about macronutrients. Because you mentioned it, I'm curious. Do you actually follow a certain macronutrient basis? Do you make sure to have certain amount of protein with each meal, or is it something that just kind of like in the back of your mind, but not really?
Yeah, I think when I choose a meal, I sort of roughly gauge like, all right, we need a protein, we need, half a plate of veg, and we need some kind of grain. Hopefully it's whole grain, although there's a bit of a rebellion against the whole wheat pasta in my house. So, I try to kind of keep it balanced, but I don't really track it.
Sounds like you're doing your best, which is
I'm
awesome.
trying.
Yeah, we're all just trying to survive this world.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. You said that your main health concern is lifestyle factors, which are difficult for you to get a grip on and will continue creeping and will diminish your capacity later in life. Can you go a bit more into detail about that?
Yeah, by lifestyle factors, I understand things like diet and exercise, stress, sleep quality, those things that can, contribute to chronic disease later. Not like I was perfect before the twins were born, but since they've been born, it's been, I used to go running 2 to 3 times a week. It's been really hard to carve out that time. And then I also had this problem with all of my joints kind of all at once, being very inflamed. I had a frozen shoulder, and then I had like plantar fasciitis and knee pain and tennis elbow and carpal tunnel, like really just systemic. And no doctor could tell me what was going on. I mean, I went to many different kinds of specialists and I couldn't run. The only kind of exercise I could do aside from physical therapy was really go swimming. And then taking the time out to go to the pool is just so much harder than hopping on my bike and biking to work or throwing on my running shoes and going for a half-hour jog. So that made it very difficult to get adequate physical exercise and to stay strong. And, I do bike to work every day, but I had a job across Zurich. It was all flat. It was like 3 kilometers, a nice 20-minute bike ride, but not something like getting my heart rate up. So that's one side. The other side is, of course, like the food, right? Like my husband might cook one meal a week in our house if we're lucky. I'm doing the rest of the cooking and the shopping and everything, and like consistently making healthy meals that like then the kids won't eat. It's just it's demoralizing.
Yes,
So,
it is.
there was a year where I just ate dinner standing up in the kitchen, and my dinner consisted of toddler leftovers. And finally, my daughter was like, "Mom, we can't live like this anymore. We have to have proper dinner. We have to sit down. Like, can't do this." And I'm like picking up the corn off their tray, and I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm fine. This is all I need."
Oh.
So it's that kind of thing. In the day to day, it feels like a lot, but over the years, you will see the benefit if you are able to incorporate healthier habits. I don't smoke. I try not to eat too much junk food, but it's just those pieces where I could be a little bit better, I think. And I also just saw my weight kind of start to creep up when I started to have those problems. And I tell you, Donna, there was a year when I just thought my scale was broken
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, my clothes still fit the same, but the number just keeps going up. And then I was like, I just don't believe it. Like, I have to get a gym membership again so I can go see a neutral scale, like what the number is. And then I bought a new scale and I like calibrated it and everything. And I was like, oh crap, this is the actual number.
Just wasted money on a new one. And oh man.
Yeah. So that was very demoralizing. But then I don't understand how I can be like 10 kilos heavier and still fit the same clothes as I did before. So that's why I started looking at like body fat percentage. Am I just gaining muscle from like lifting 2 15-kilo kids all the time, right? Is that why my sleeves are all tight?
Which is also true.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah. But yeah, so I think that's kind of more my goal, like just to remain strong and to keep my body fat percentage in a healthy range and just to avoid these lifestyle diseases like type 2 diabetes later in life and, push out cancer diagnosis as far as possible.
Sure. That's too relatable. Let me ask you something, because you did mention that you had just full-blown inflammation throughout your body. What did you end up doing? What actually helped?
I don't know. So I did physical therapy. I did strength training, and that helped a lot. The other stuff, I don't know. I didn't substantially change anything. I mean, I did reduce my alcohol intake.
Yep.
So maybe that helped, like after 6-8 months, that made an impact. I mean, I would have, before I was having maybe 1 to 2 glasses of wine, probably 4 or 5 times a week. And now I'll drink once or twice, 2 glasses if I drink, maybe 3. That's really like the only thing. I mean, just kind of stayed consistent with physiotherapy and I tried like the inflammation reducing diet, but all of that, it's just like the way that I was already eating anyway, right? Like,
okay. That's quite interesting, because what I find is that our bodies will find different ways of communicating that something is wrong. Inflammation is just one of them, right? A lot of people are surprised when I say maybe your toe pain has to do with something that you're eating. They're like, but it doesn't affect my stomach. I don't feel a direct correlation, but there's always a direct correlation, as you might know. So it's just sometimes the body just shifts its way. It's like, okay, that didn't help. Let me figure out another way, or things just kind of develop and happen. We develop sensitivities throughout our life. If there's something like leaky gut as one of many examples, we could be eating healthy food, but because of the leaky gut, we develop a sensitivity to carrots or to lentils or to whatever, where we're like, okay, we're eating healthy. I don't understand what's going on, but the body is like, whoa, we're under attack. So these are all things to just plant seeds in your head, because that is usually why it's so hard to go to a medical doctor and say, what the hell is going on? And them kind of like shrugging and going like, it's just part of life. And it doesn't have to be. What we're going to do is just kind of try to discover, what are those things that are affecting you? What are those things that are making a good impact on your day-to-day life, your sleep, your stress, your weight, everything that you mentioned, more energy to go and work out, etc. And of course, more energy to deal with the kids, and what is actually affecting us in a bad way, and try to reduce those.
Hey, did you know that I have another podcast? It's called So Frickin' Healthy, and I started that podcast in 2022 with another IIN health coach named Danna Levy-Hoffman. So if you love this podcast, you're probably gonna like that one, because all we do is talk about health stuff. We have great experts on. Yeah, we have a really, really good time. So join us over there. The link is in the show notes. It's called So Frickin' Healthy, because, we had to keep it a little bit PG. See you there.
You did mention stress, and we did talk about the kids and work, which is, I guess, I'm very bad in math, but you're working about 50% right now?
Yeah, 60%. Yeah.
60%. Okay. How would you say are your stress levels? Like, how is stress affecting you in life? How does it show in your life?
I would say they're moderate. Not super high, but not negligible either. Even this past week, I found myself very stressed just because of the heat. I see you drinking from your nice giant jug of water. I mean, I find it stressful when it's hot, and I'm irritable. My marriage is stressful for me right now. We're in a very difficult patch. My husband's mother just passed from cancer, which was like a very fast decline. She was diagnosed in August, and by the end of the year, she was gone.
Wow.
And we're still dealing with the fallout from that. And he, I feel kind of took out a lot of his grief on me. So there's like a lot of stress around that. And he also kind of brings it into the house, like his anxiety, right, around like, oh, that, this closet is so full of stuff, or like the house is so messy. And I feel like that's him saying like, why haven't you cleaned it, right? So we have this like kind of like mismatch in communication. So yeah, that's a big stressor for me. And then also, yeah, just like all the day-to-day stuff, right? All of the like day-to-day logistics around who's got camp, who needs this, who needs that. I mean, work is like my retreat into a calm and normal environment. And yeah, there's also stressors there, right? But that tells you something about the scale.
Yeah. So it feels and sounds like the stress at home is a lot more of an overload on your system, and going to work is like, oh yay, I have work today and I can just not think about home. And that's totally, again, totally relatable and totally understandable with that situation. Okay. Do you feel that the stress is affecting your sleep?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially like the past 2 weeks, I have barely slept. Well, not barely, but for me, I am a sleeper. I like to get my good 8.5 hours, and I've been averaging 6.5, just between the heat, between waking up in the middle of the night hot, and then just the thoughts cycling through my brain, keeping me up. I don't really have a problem falling asleep, but I was having this issue where I would wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and then not be able to go to sleep for like another 60 to 90 minutes. That's sort of resolved, but started cropping back up this past week. Or just wake up at 5:30 and like I'm hot and now I can't go back to sleep. So
okay. And can I ask what do you do when you're laying in bed and you're unable to go back to sleep? What's your strategy?
I read my book. I have a Kindle with a backlight and I just read.
Okay, this is exactly why I ask about sleep and stress before talking about any food or physical activity, is because our body, when it's under stress, it's basically almost impossible for it to lose weight. That's the one thing. And it is intertwined with sleep, right? So if you're not sleeping well, you're going to be stressed. If you're stressed, you're not going to be able to sleep well, or you wake up in the middle of the night. And so it's this vicious cycle that keeps us in this loop, and we're going to do whatever we can during the day to eat healthier, to not snack, or to snack healthier, or whatever. But if we're underslept, the hormone in our brain that actually tells us that we've eaten enough is asleep. It's not working. And then we're also constantly looking for energy. And in our brain, energy translates into carbs and sugar and caffeine, right? We need something to keep us up. A carrot is not going to keep me up, right? Yeah. So we tend to go for the food that will actually suck out more of our energy, and we're unable to stop eating it. So it's just a really vicious cycle. And again, there's no judgment whatsoever. It's just kind of like factual. This is how our brain works, and this is what we need to deal with in order to overcome the issues that we're dealing with, so that we can, at the end of the day, lose weight, right? So the idea behind working together would not necessarily be, because a lot of people come up to me and they're like, just tell me what to eat. I'll just do it. Just tell me what to eat. Everything will be fine. And it doesn't work that way, because if your sleep and stress are not balanced and more in control, you can eat as healthy as you want. Your body is just going to drive you insane. Your brain is going to drive you insane. It's going to be a huge struggle. and eating less doesn't necessarily help either. So I can only assume that period when you said I was eating, standing up in the kitchen eating the toddler's like leftovers. I love your daughter sounds like a super smart kid, by the way. We can kind of walk around thinking like, but how am I gaining weight? I literally had like 3 corns from the plate, like I didn't even eat. It's because the body is really freaked out when we all of a sudden don't eat, and then it goes like, okay, just keep all the fat and energy and fat cells. And so again, there's a lot of process there, and we can definitely go over it if and when we choose to work together. But it's just, again, something to think about. So to not dismiss the importance of reducing stress in whichever way possible, to getting enough sleep in whichever way possible, and so on. Does that make a bit of sense, or am I just blabbering?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Thinking about starting your health coaching journey at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition? Use my ambassador code MeganMcCrory20 for exclusive discounts and special deals that are always going on. Click the link at the bottom of the show notes to take advantage of these deals. And yes, I do get a commission. Consider it your way of supporting the show. Thanks.
So you said you have sensitivities to penicillin and raw onion garlic family. Your cycle, you said it's not regular, but you are on IUD.
Yes.
Can I ask which IUD you're on? Is it
the copper IUD?
The copper? Okay. And that's something that's been going on, it seems, for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not something new that is coming maybe with perimenopause. It's just always been.
No, my cycle got much more regular with, my doctor says I'm not in perimenopause, but like after I turned 39 or so, I started having these kind of like 35-day cycles. Before that, I would get my period 3 to 4 times a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you have siblings also, sisters, or
You
do?
I have a sister. I have a sister. Yeah.
Okay. And she is younger or older?
She's 13 years younger. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And your mom, do you know when she went through menopause? Your grandma, aunts, etc.?
No, I don't actually. I should ask her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just out of curiosity. It's just the more information you can get on that, the better. But we've made a couple of episodes also on perimenopause worth listening to. There's a lot changing in the good 10 years before actual menopause, that if we're aware of those things, we can correlate it to that and understand, okay, maybe it's hormonal and we can help balance things hormonally. That wouldn't be through me, that would be through a doctor, of course, but it's just something to kind of think about and investigate always.
Yeah. I've been to a doctor who specialized in perimenopause because I thought maybe the joints had something to do with it. They said when you have joint pain caused by perimenopause, it's usually like your knuckles. So it's, I've been diagnosed with PCOS, and my hormone levels were always just like way out of the norm for what they should be until a couple years ago. And then now, they said the first step to check if you're in perimenopause is always to check your hormones. And they're like, no, your hormones are exactly where they should be. And I'm like, well, this has not been the case for the rest of my life. So there has been a change, right? And now I'm getting these like regular cycles, a little bit long, but like fairly regular. And I've only missed like 1 period in the past 2 years, but it's not perimenopause. Okay.
Yeah.
It's maybe the ramp up to it. It's the beginning of these hormonal changes, but it just looks different for people who have always had a hormonal imbalance. So
let me tell you a secret. It looks different for every single person. And that is why I love that your body is your science. No one can tell you, your inflammation has nothing to do with this, and your hormones are, that there is a change, and that is very big. Because, if you were just standing there and going like, oh, okay, so the doctors know everything, then that actually would have been a bigger problem. Because there's a lot of good that I can say about research. There's also a lot of bad stuff that I can say about research. And fact is, they push away the abnormal results and just focus on what can we narrow down. And it doesn't include everyone.
Yeah,
right?
There's not so much research. I haven't done a deep dive into it, but there's not so much research on what perimenopause looks like with people with PCOS, as far as I know.
There's hardly any research about perimenopause. That's the sad part. Most researches are being done on men. And so we can't compare men and women and their hormones. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're hyper aware that there are things that maybe that's not the case for you. So that's
I
really
mean,
good.
yeah. I mean, the other thing with the whole like perimenopause discussion is that I feel now there's a bit of a backlash and like it is almost overhyped, and there are so many symptoms where it can be caused by perimenopause or it can be caused by something else. And I think now there's almost this like overcorrection where people are a little too eager to say, oh no, like this is my peri or whatever. And I am also a bit wary of that, especially when it involves selling me supplements. But
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the supplement world is a whole different story, but yeah, I think that there's let's not get into that because I have a lot to say about that. But when you test and really find out that you're in perimenopause, honestly, any change that you go through in that period of life is legitimate because it's you and how your body is reacting.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so again, that's why I do have a problem with research because you can't gather all of the information from everyone. And just like our thumbprints are different, every single person on earth, there's not one that's the same as the other. There's no reason why our body would react the same exact way to certain things,
yeah,
right? If it
yeah,
comes to
yeah.
food and sensitivities, if it comes to hormonal changes, etc. So it's just something that we just need to figure out for ourselves, unfortunately, until science catches up with us. Thank you for that. I think I would have a million more questions, but I think those could happen if and when we move forward, especially when it comes to your daily structure, your eating structure, and things like that. I do see that you're really trying to go for the healthier things, the healthier general things.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
would definitely figure out what are the healthier things for you. What are the things that can actually support you throughout this time in your life? And
Yeah, I mean, can I just add one thing to that? It's like
of course,
always in the back of my mind, I'm raising 2 girls. I don't want to bring diet culture into my house. I don't want to display disordered eating in front of them. I don't even like the idea of a diet,
hmm
like going on a diet, right? And like any changes that I would want to make, I want them to just kind of be sustainable and lead to health in the long term. I try not to weigh myself in front of them, talk about weight, talk about my appearance. Of course, they see me like put on 3 different shirts before I, choose one. But whatever changes I make, I want them to reflect real respect for my body and also not, how can I say it? It's important for me to eat ice cream with my kids to show them that that can be part of a healthy diet, or to bake with them or whatever. So that's really like kind of for first and foremost in my mind, and probably, has been one of the reasons why I haven't made much progress. But I think it's really important. I don't want them to grow up like I did. I really
yeah,
want the focus to be on health and pleasure and living to the fullest. So,
perfect. It sounds like we're gonna get along just
okay, good.
really well. Because yeah, we don't necessarily believe in diets or do diets. I feel that diets are there is a space for elimination diets when certain things are need to be
Yeah,
healed in a certain
exactly. If
way.
you're testing if I
Um,
have an allergy or something, yeah, yeah.
exactly. But I'm happy with the 80-20, ratio of eating healthy 80% of the time and enjoying life because we need to enjoy freaking life. We're living just once. 20% of the time, which is a lot. I mean, if you do like during the week, you're eating well, and on the weekend, you're having fun. That sounds like a good ratio to me.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah.
we'll do just fine. Excellent. Thank you so much for jumping on the call. And yeah, see how we move forward.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, thanks for your time. It was an interesting conversation.
This podcast is a production of the Swisscast Network, amplifying English-speaking voices in, for, and about Switzerland. Learn more at swisscast.network.